Long time, no see. I'm back. That's right. Let's talk to Timberwolves. Welcome to Timberwolves Today. If you're new here, I'm Tyrus. If you're returning, Tyrus is back. Um, Guys, we're closing in on the season. Moves are becoming official, and that's where we're starting off today. Bones Highland is officially a Timberwolf again. Was it a surprise? No. Was it what we probably wanted? No. Now, starting Malcolm Brogdon, I thought he was going to sign. Multiple reports were like, Brogdon's going to sign with the Wolves. This is the week he'll sign with the Wolves. It wasn't. No, he signed a minimum deal with the Knicks, I believe, who struck out on Ben Simmons. Um, don't know if Ben Simmons is actually going to be playing anywhere this year. So good for Ben Simmons. I guess he can pick where he wants to go. That's something you still have the benefit of doing if you're as bad as him. Besides the point, but I'm happy we got Bones back. We got to find him some playing time. He might end up pretty buried down the depth chart of point guard. Not really where I want to see him. I don't want to see him bounce between us and the G League either. G League got a new head coach, if you're unaware, former coach of the Rio Grande Vipers. Won a championship there with them. Not a bad coach. So the G League guys are getting someone good, and Bones might end up spending some time down there. If not, I'd be a little shocked. Um, but no, glad to have Bones back. I think he could help this squad out if we do have some injuries. He's a guy I trust getting minutes. He has experience, 9.5 points through his career average, on average, with Denver and the Clippers. But end of the day, he's not a guy who's going to see more than 10 to 12 minutes for the Timberwolves. That's my guess. I don't think he's going to be a super big impact player, but I'm excited that he's here. Absolutely excited. It's hard not to be, like, especially when you get someone who's still kind of young and has some opportunity, kind of like the next guy who is officially a Timberwolf. Um, I don't know. Is that how you guys would say it? That's how I've always said it. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a wolf now. Singular of Timberwolf looks so weird. It does. Yeah, yeah. But Johnny Juzang, officially a Timberwolf. We knew we signed him to a 1 year deal a couple months ago, but it is officially official. He is on the squad. Welcome, Johnny. And again, like I was saying, a young guy who, might end up buried down the charts, might be a bench guy, but at the end of the day, he's someone that excites me because we've seen what he could do in college. He drug a UCLA team to the Final Four, where he was an absolute stud. Final Four, Elite Eight, Final Four. I'm forgetting now, but he had a great March, and that's kind of what spun the circle for him to have an NBA career the way he has so far. Um, Obviously, nothing spectacular, but he's on rosters, so which is easier said than done. There's less guys who have made a roster than haven't, so good for them. But no, happy to have Johnny on the squad. Wow, can we print the shirts for that? Johnny on the squad. I'll take it. I'm hoping him and Bones can be bench guys. Actually be able to fill in minutes. Obviously, I think we're going to see a lot of those minutes go to Jalen Clark and TSJ. The younger guys and Bones and Johnny might pick up kind of the slack late. But if they do have spectacular seasons, I'm more than open to it. Obviously, I'm open to the universe. So, got to see it happen for those guys. But I'm content with the roster now. Like, we weren't really sure what we were going to get for our last couple players here. There was talks of veteran guards coming in and Landry Shamet, Malcolm Brogdon, and Cam Payne. All guys who have been invested and tried, and we've seen what they're made of. But two guys here who have never actually been given a real shot, I'm more open to see what they're made of. If it burns us, it's not the end of the world because they're not going to see 20 minutes a game. And that's fine to me. I like it when teams, give these young guys a little bit of trust and hope instead of just resorting to the same veterans. It's like when the NFL just keeps signing the same backups and you're sitting there wondering how one of the best college quarterbacks doesn't have a backup job. It's like because they've seen what they can do, they know their max, they know what they're bad at, and they just trust them a little bit more. But that's not what moves the league. Bones Highland and Johnny Juzang and other young guys being able to have more opportunity is what moves the league a little bit faster, I'd say. But enough about the team. We're going to see this team pretty soon here, about a month-ish, 50 days-ish, probably from now. We'll see a preseason game. Expect to see those guys, and I'm excited. But that being said, 2 weeks away from now is Media Day. 2 days from today, we will have Media Day, which means we're going to get some new graphics of our favorite players. We're going to get some new ones of, the young guys like TSJ and Clark. We'll expect to see them a little more heavily involved. Obviously, we're going to get Baron J and probably Rocco, I'd guess, will be in some of the pictures. And then we might get some jerseys leaked, because that's kind of when that starts. We know the Prince one's coming. It hasn't really been confirmed if it is the exact same purple one or if it's slightly different, because we've seen other city editions for some teams come in, and those have been different colors, slight variations of it, whatever. I think it's going to be purple. I don't think they'll go with something like the white they did for the urn. A gray one would be pretty ugly in my opinion. Black would be cool, I guess, but we're going to do the black trees, so can't really do two black jerseys. That would be kind of redundant. We already have a gray jersey, so it's kind of purple or lighter purple. I would take a lighter purple, like almost like a periwinkle color. That is kind of one of the accent colors on the original one. How many times did I say color in a sentence? But I think then 2 weeks away, we're gonna start to see those jerseys get leaked out. And that's pretty exciting. I like it when those get leaked, and it's actually more exciting to see these Prince jerseys come back with this team, because they're worth a damn. On the last team, I think the only guys who played in it worth anything, someone can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but was Towns. Obviously, Derrick Rose was on the team, and Jimmy was, but I don't know if Jimmy was even healthy. Then Jeff Teague, Josh Okogie. That's kind of where the list stops in my head of who was relevant on that team by any means. So to have a full squad of guys who it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, Naz Reid's playing in the Prince jersey, like that's something to cheer for. Honestly, it is something to cheer for. And those are gonna sell like hotcakes. Absolutely going to sell. I kind of hope that I've talked about it, but I kind of hope the Naz Reid night might be incorporated with the Prince night. Whether that's a new purple towel or something like that. A purple towel would be sick. I might be cooking. Timberwolves Social, if you're out there watching this, you can have that idea for free. All I ask is for 2 courtside tickets for that game and 4 towels for myself. 1 to use, 3 for myself. We can agree to that. But no, Media Day is exciting. Always exciting. Anthony Edwards is going to be in his new shoes. Lots to be excited for there, honestly. There is. Finally, for today, this is a trade that I absolutely believe is necessary by the trade deadline. I think it just is, and it makes a lot more sense than what we currently are dealing with, because we have some depth issues at certain positions where I don't trust it. We haven't trusted it. We've kind of talked about this trade before, but I want to reiterate it because I feel like it's important that someone out there hears this, because if this trade happens, the Timberwolves absolutely would be destined for another Western Conference final. It's with the Heat. We need to trade with them. We'll send them Dante and Leonard Miller for Davion Mitchell and Jaime Jaquez Jr. I really just struggled with his name, even though I've said it plenty of times. I think it makes so much sense. Dante is great. I don't think he fits what we need. He's not a point guard, naturally. He is just a shooting guard who needs consistency, and he can go find that on the Heat a lot better than he can on the Timberwolves. The Heat are kind of in no man's land. Like, they're a very cheap team, but they've got some contracts they need to get off of, including Terry Rozier. And, Bam isn't getting younger. Tyler Hero, not really a number one. So if they weren't trying to make the playoffs this year, this would be the year to make trades like this. So trading for Davion Mitchell gives us a starting point guard. Conley can come off the bench behind him. Rob can come off the bench too. And then Jaquez Jr., dude, he just needs a new look, a new place. He hasn't been the same since that rookie season. He's still a good role guy. I really like him. I think it makes a lot more sense for him to come off the bench in kind of the crew with TSJ and Clark and Hawkes Jr. and Conley. It would make a lot of sense for him to be a part of that, and I think he'd fit in nicely. And also, he would look pretty good in a Timberwolves jersey. Not gonna lie, I think he'd just be one of those guys who looks good. But if this trade obviously can't happen until like October ish or later than that. I could see it being a trade deadline trade, but it's really just going to depend on where the two teams are at. If this is out there at all, I think it's a no brainer for both teams. We're probably throwing them some picks as well, but it makes sense. The deals are pretty similar. The Heat save a little bit more money. The Timberwolves take on a little bit more, but they can do it. It's not the end of the world. It's only 1.2 million that they'd be taking on. So let's make it happen. Let's make the push. Let's make another Western Conference final, win that one, make it to the finals, and then win the finals. But that's all I've got for you guys. Glad to be back. Take care and see you next time.